Good afternoon, boys and girls, and a very special good afternoon to people who have been waiting since the end of episode 49. But thank you, all of you, for tuning in to episode 50. I can't quite believe I am saying that, but I just did episode 50 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, coming to you today live from YouTube. So a very warm welcome to those of you who are tuning in or have tuned in. This is going to be slightly longer than the single perfume videos we'll be doing. Hi Anna, feel free to send questions, comments. It's not going to be as long as some of the other ones we used to do. I'm not going to go on for a full hour, but we'll probably be approaching an hour because I would like to get through at least 4 perfumes. So just to get the boring stuff out of the way first, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, Lynn Smell says good afternoon and bon après-midi to you as well. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please consider doing so. Please feel free to leave comments, ask questions, even if you're watching after the live broadcast. Most people do watch after the live broadcast, unsurprisingly, so that's when I tend to get a lot of comments as well. Hello, Fahmi. Thank you for tuning in. Please consider supporting me on my Ko-fi page. You'll find details of that in the video description below. And also don't forget that a few hours after the end of the broadcast, I do a blotter update where I tell you how the smells we've been talking about have developed, just so that we're not making a final judgment, a comprehensive judgment on them based on just an initial sniff. And I have also got something special lined up because this is episode 50 and I've got one of you to thank for the inspiration for that. But I haven't done the obvious. I mean, I'm guessing that everything's okay in terms of being on the air because people have already been communicating and responding, so that would be a bit strange if we weren't actually on the air. But here we're okay on the tablet. So I would actually like to start with something that arrived, hi Ashfaq, just a few hours ago, and I thought brilliant, perfect timing, but you probably wouldn't even guess what it is because I haven't got a full bottle to show you. It's just one of these little vials here. I wonder if the camera is, or if the broadcast is high def enough for you to be able to see what that is. That is the latest from Le Labo, and it's their Baie 19. So Baie 19, I suppose we'd call it. We had a chat when I did the 2 new city exclusives about a month ago, I suppose I must have covered them because that's when they were available. We had a long and quite detailed and lengthy chat about Le Labo and how it's perceived as a brand. So I would say find that video, the City Exclusives 2019 video. We probably won't get into the whole what do we think of. Hello from San Francisco, says David. Hi, one of the places I would really very much like to visit in the world, but then I would like to see the US. I have never crossed the Atlantic and headed over to the United States. It'll have to happen one day. But this is a new scent in their main range, so this is going to be available everywhere, and I think we should just go ahead and smell it. So this is what's opening episode 50 of Love at First Scent. Thank you very much, by the way, for letting me get to episode 50, because if it weren't for the fact that I had so many people watching and interacting and commenting, I'm sure I would have, stopped at episode 4 or something. So thanks to you for the endless encouragement. And on that positive note, I wonder if we're going to be able to maintain the positivity with the new one from Le Labo, which I'm going to pop here, I think. Okay, what's this going to be like? Suddenly I feel like I'm back in the 80s for some reason. Or do I mean 90s, actually? I'll tell you why. It's got a kind of woody ozonic. It's just reminded me of a Calvin Klein Escape. Which really isn't one of my favourite perfumes in the world at all. Somebody in my family loves Escape and really bemoans the fact that it's been discontinued, whereas I actually think the discontinuation of Escape is one of the best things that ever happened in perfumery. But having said that, this isn't Dream of Me No More. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about with Escape. There must be other fans, not my favourite reference either, says Ashfaq. No. A lot of people must have liked it. Doesn't sound good. Woody ozonic. Okay, but hang on. Let's be fair. Let's be fair to Le Labo, because it's definitely, just when you thought you'd escaped, says David, it's definitely more interesting than Escape. It has got an ozonic feel to it. No, this is actually curious. This is making me want to find out what's going on, because Well, yes, Lynn. Obviously, not that many since it was discontinued. Yeah, good point. Hang on, still trying to work out what's going on here, because it is kind of ozonic, but it's also kind of metallic, and Escape reminds me of what Leopold Bloom says when he feels his wife's bum in bed. Fine. You get all the most literary references on Love at First Scent. I missed the beginning, says Brandon. The beginning kind of went a little bit like this. Is that fair enough? A fair enough summation? No, come on, let's focus. It's ozonic, it's metallic, it's kind of peaty, it's kind of woody. It is much more interesting than Escape, and it's got a kind of ambroxany, ambergris type feel to it, but it's quite hard to describe because it's somehow. I'm seeing a lot of grey, but in an interesting way. Do you remember when was it that Comme des Garçons released Concrete? Was it 2 years ago? See, that I didn't think was an especially successful representation of what concrete might have smelt like. I mean, okay, you were never going to make something that really smelt of concrete, but the perfume Concrete actually became far too sweet, far too sickly in terms of what it was trying to represent, which is why it'll be interesting to see what copper is like, but I haven't smelt it at all. Anyway, let's not get into that. This is like a kind of urban jungle. It's sort of urban pavement. No, you don't need to actually quote from Joyce. What was it? He kissed the plump, mellow yellow. Fine. I stopped at rump. I'll go back to that quote. But well done for Googling it so quickly, or do you know it off by heart? And actually what seems to be coming through is one of those sort of modern patchoulis, like if you've ever smelt Akigalo wood, the patchouli material from Givaudan, which has a very, very metallic feel to it. You can smell it in Une Amourette for État Libre d'Orange, which was done for them by Daniela Andrier. It's suitably strange. It's suitably weird, actually, to kind of go with that industrial, mock retro, mock sci-fi, Labo aesthetic. I want to read the press release because I'd like to see if that actually helps. This is one of the sort of drawbacks of doing this live, because some scents you can't actually figure out in one go at all. They turn out to be the keepers sometimes because you need to wear them. You need to sort of think, oh, I can see what it's doing now. I wonder if this one is actually going to go mostly patchouli. Like, how does that go with the ozonic note? It sounds confusing, says that. Well, it kind of is a bit perplexing, but not in a bad way, not as though it's a mess. The press stuff that I've got, the press bump that I've got for it is very, very short. It goes a little bit something like this. Truth is, Baie 19 should have been called Water 19. Not that it smells like nothing, though nothing smells like it. Haha, yes, okay. See what they did there. But it has a crisp, wet, drenched effect water gives to the earth after the rain. Oh, okay. I was saying pavements and concrete. I'll go along with that. And there's a word for that, by the way, petrichor. Yeah, thank you. The magical smell during heavy rain following a long dry spell, and it's one of the most beautiful olfactive phenomena in nature. Okay, well, this isn't that perfectly, but there are many reasons for this, including the ozone in the air, thank you very much, the negative ions, but most importantly, the release of oil secretions from certain plants accumulated after a long dry period. That is what Baie 19 is about. The dry juniper berry. Okay, fine. So that's quite a woody feeling berry, and it always makes you think a little bit of gin. The patchouli, the green leaves, all soaked by a beautiful, luminous, magnetic rain after a long drought, and the joy that comes with it. I go along with some of that, but this doesn't feel especially joyful. I mean, it might on skin. It actually feels like, We're talking about the new Labo Baie 19. Yes, Angeline, it's not the typical ozonic scent to me. It's a cleaned up patchouli with berry fruitiness and smells damp. Yes, thank you. Would you want to just sit here for a bit? Because I think that's kind of what I've been thinking. Ashfaq says it certainly doesn't smell like petrichor based on how you described it. Petrichor smells beautiful. No, this is odd. A morose garden, says Eric. Maybe, but you know what I was thinking? We're saying it's joyful. This is actually like if a sort of pavement or a cityscape had been designed by Issey Miyake in a particularly grey-black phase. So not when he does the supremely vibrant colours for pleats please, but when he just tries to, well, actually maybe do colours that are a little bit like this. This perfume and this shirt would probably go quite well together, except with maybe not quite a crazy pattern as this. I totally agree with Ashfaq. Petrichor is one of my favourite smells too. No, this petrichor to me is hotter somehow. The juniper here, I think, is making this quite cool, quite austere. And I have to say that patchouli, that modern synthetic-y, messed around with fractionated patchouli, is coming across more strongly. Is it similar to urban? Sorry, is it a similar urban grey to Narcisa Rodriguez Pour Homme? No, because I think that's got a sort of more vegetal feel to it. That always makes me think of cucumbers and things like that. Although again, you see that ozonic, saline, marine-like. It's all that kind of ballpark, isn't it? It's getting closer and closer to Une Amourette, which must be because of the patchouli they've used. Interesting. We will come back to it obviously because we've got the blotter update, but it's certainly not a write-off. Kind of makes sense. Le Labo perfumes and their corresponding names tend to have little Oh yeah. I don't even expect them to have much of a connection. Curious, says Eric. Yes, it is, and that's okay, isn't it? I think something being curious and interesting is a good thing. Okay, moving on. What I would like to do next is actually carry on the whole I haven't smelt this for the first time, or I haven't smelt this yet vibe. I'd like to look at something that I received again a few days ago. I've never featured this particular perfume brand or this perfumer on these videos before. I don't know if you can see there, but it's Ruth Mastenbroek, a UK-based perfumer, a perfumer of long-standing with a high reputation in the industry, but maybe not as well known as somebody like Alberto Morillas, whom we talked about in episode 49, because she did a lot of work for largish brands quite anonymously. She's had her own brand for a good few years now, and I've been remiss in not talking about her that much really. I should have written something or done a video on her previous scent called Fire Dance. I believe it was the previous one to this. Really interesting perfume. It certainly deserved more attention than I gave it, I'm afraid. I mean, there's no reason why I can't go back and write about it, but do check out Fire Dance. Good morning from Wisconsin, says Bruton. Good morning to you as well. This is a perfume. I'm just going to try and hold it so that you can actually maybe see the name. This is a perfume that actually made me look up online the International Phonetic Alphabet. I heard her name, says Ashfaq, so her opening a Poison ESP with Sarah from 4160 Tuesdays. Okay. This one made me look up the International Phonetic Alphabet because I wanted to find out how you pronounce this, and I'm going to get this wrong. Apparently it's an old English word, and we're meant to say it's something like Darien or Derian or something along those lines. It's a word that's actually a verb. Hello from Colombo, Sri Lanka, says Tashara. Thank you very much for tuning in. Oh, hang on, let's get this out carefully. It means to dawn. A lovely brand signature, and Oxford are nice. Or maybe Oxford came after Fire Dance. I can't remember now. Well, I mean, you can look up the details online. Let's pop that here. I'm genuinely curious to find out how this is going to smell. I've got a press release. So anyway, this is the... most people are going to be saying things like Dagian or Dagian, but I think it's meant to be Darien. Look up the word on online. From Ruth Mastenbroek. Right, let's see where this takes us. Always a bit nerve-wracking. After I've just hyped up her brand, let's see. Where can I pop that so it doesn't... Is that going to be safe there? Yes, that feels fairly secure. Okay, wow, ooh, Strong citruses. Strong, strong, strong citrus opening. Dagian, says Bruton. Is that how you pronounce that? With the G? Okay. This is interesting. See, she does throw you with her openings quite often. They can sometimes almost be a little bit standoffish, but she is a classical or classically minded perfumer in the sense that her perfumes really, really do take you on a journey. And so absolutely I will need to give this skin time and give it a proper wearing to see how it develops from start to middle to end. Because if this perfume doesn't have a development arc, then I think it'll be the only perfume in her brand that doesn't. But getting really, really strong, bright yellows, lemons. Hey from Denmark, says Umberto. Thank you for tuning in. Hello. And almost a kind of roast citrus feel. There's something about the zest here. It's just a curiously, compellingly on the turn. I mean, I'm seeing orbs of amber, sunlight, but real zest and vitality and optimism as well. And it kind of makes you look, you feel like you're looking into the distance. You feel like your eyes are being drawn into this sunscape. Possibly quite a kind of mossy base, maybe a patchouli base again. She does like her chypre perfumes, does Ruth. Interesting. Let's give that a few minutes while we read the press release, which is, excuse me, a tiny little bit on the lengthy side. Independent British perfumer Ruth Mastenbroek launches her 5th fragrance nationwide this October. Shall I just say Dagian? Dagian is a story of optimism, a perfume which embraces the dawning of a new day. A ski doesn't love a sheep, says Eric. I guess you meant who? Thank you very much. A new era, a new time in life. Dagian captures that sense of anticipation, hope, excitement, and unbridled optimism that is felt at the very beginning of the day when anything is possible. Okay, but it's not a sort of burst. It's more a kind of slow awakening, this one, I think, at least to start with. It's the essence of that split second of anticipation, a newly refreshed outlook. The name comes from the verb to dawn, which in Old English means to begin to brighten with daylight. Nice verb. I try to dig in all the time. Ruth's inspiration for the fragrance comes from a holiday to Corfu, which she took when she was 21. I think she must have been forced to read Anglo-Saxon literature at Oxford, somebody said. Yeah, maybe, but then, yeah, probably. It was a significant time in Ruth's life where she felt that she had everything ahead of her and was on the cusp of the excitement of a new era in her life, having just graduated from, thank you very much, Oxford University. The perfume is a juxtaposition, a beautiful modern fragrance which harks back to simpler and less complicated times. Yeah, but you see, I can't imagine. She'll also donate £5 for each bottle of Dagian sold. Very nice, says Ashfaq. Donate to whom? Is that going to be on here? I don't think I've got anything on there. Donate to whom? Who writes these press releases, says Umberto. I would imagine this was written in-house by maybe even by Ruth herself or her team. But what I was saying, it says it harks back to less complicated times. See, I can't imagine Ruth being able to do uncomplicated if she tried. Her strength is that she makes things that are complicated and complex and layered and that take time to appreciate and to understand. So I'm not sure I'd go with the less complicated. Anyway, the fragrance. It is a solar fragrance, they say, with citrus and orange blossom, warmed by a hint of rum in the sunlight, cooled by lime and mint. Okay, that makes sense actually, because there was a sort of strange greeny coldness coming through, perfectly capturing dawn breaking on a sparkling new day. And we've got a list of notes here. Top notes are lime, grapefruit, definitely, mandarin and mint, and then a heart of orange blossom and jasmine with base notes of sandalwood, dry musk, and amber. Oh, apparently the donations are to a charity called Centrepoint for homeless people. I like when houses do less descriptions and allow us to imagine. And Rosalie says, hey there. Hello to you as well, Rosalie. Yes, the grapefruit. Now, of course, all I can see is grapefruit. So it's curious that they haven't said vetiver. Beowulf obviously liked a mojito. we've gone from James Joyce to Beowulf. Well done, by the way, very good. Although, is this a mojito? Grapefruit, mandarin, and mint. See, I'm not an expert on cocktails at all. But what cocktail would you make? I mean, Beowulf probably didn't even care. He probably just went for the. Oh, I see. You're taking the rum reference as well. Okay, very good. So maybe it is. Maybe it is. You know, if Beowulf made something called a mojito, this is probably what he would have made. Becoming quite strongly grapefruity now, actually. See, I agree. You should reward Dream of Me No More. I reward you with my endless esteem and respect. Thank you very much. See me afterwards for a detention. I go along with the fact that it's ambery and yellow and sunny. Thank you, Dream of Me No More. But I don't know if I would say that it's exciting and energetic. Actually, it feels more. It feels quite portentous somehow. You know the Thus Spake Zarathustra music in 2001. You know it's a sunrise that has those, you know, those notes playing the da da da. It's not kind of, you know, you've just made yourself a quick orange juice that you're drinking on the go. It's large as well. Strauss, thank you very much. You guys just, you know, Joyce, Strauss, Beowulf. Which translation of Beowulf? Never mind. But it's interesting. It's interesting. I'll be very, very curious to see how that develops as well. Okay, now we get to the fact that this is episode 50 of Love at First Scent. So once again, thank you very much for tuning in. And Peggy, one of my most loyal viewers, thank you very much always for your support, Peggy. Peggy, after whom the Peggy board is named, said that maybe to mark the 50th episode, I should look at a perfume that is 50 years old this year. And I thought, fantastic idea. Now, Peggy herself actually suggested Calandre from Persolaise, which would have been great. What was interesting for me was looking. Oh, you're still there, Peggy. Thank you very much. Seriously, thank you for the idea. What was fascinating was actually looking at some of the scents that were released in 1969. Do it after you finish watching this. You know, go on Base Notes or something, and look up 1969. It was amazing. You know, we had Calandre from Persolaise, as I said. I think we had Eau de Lancôme. We had Dior Essence from Dior. And we had this. So when I found out that we had this, I thought, well, sorry, but this is it. There could be no other scent that I could look at to mark the 50th episode. I love Calandre. So do I, actually. And Calandre, last time I checked, was still in pretty good shape. I do have a bottle somewhere, but I thought, no, it has got to be this. Now, what an amazing bottle says, isn't it beautiful? For those of you who are not aware, this is Chamade. Nice to hear and see a serious reviewer, says Umberto. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I can't do not serious, I'm afraid. You know, I think we could like to call it geeky. Which year was your bottle produced, says Ashfaq? This is. I don't know. I don't know because. I think this is the sort of recent-ish one, as in when the reformulation was quite good. But I also have one that I found in, of all places, an antiques fair. Not an antiques fair, an antique shop in Mumbai, and it was unopened. Hang on, I'm trying to see if there's anything. Sorry, I should have done this earlier, but you can see I'm just being very, very, very careful. The one in the Indian shop was unopened, and it made it, through the flight, and I treasure that, and I actually keep it in the fridge as well. But this is Chamade from Guerlain, 1969, composed by Jean-Paul Guerlain, and we're going to smell it now. I live in a desolate country, says Ashfaq. No, you don't. Of course you don't. You live in a very interesting country, actually. Hang on, let me put this down for a second, see if because I think people got excited seeing me smelling the Guerlain, or picking up the Guerlain. We haven't smelt it yet. Come on, comments. Oh, why does this happen? Here we go. Oh no, I didn't miss anything except Angeline saying I love Calandre. While I have all of those, should put them all on, says Eric. As in these ones. Okay, right. Anyway, let's get on with Chamade. Chamade is what is it? It's a drum beat that's meant to represent a beating heart. If I spill any of this, I'm so blaming you, Peggy. Let me get a blotter and put it on here. I don't even know why I'm doing this on a blotter. It's absolute sacrilege, putting blotter into an extrait. The bottle is amazing. You will have guessed. Oh, I'm already getting it. This is just. You will have guessed straight away that it's an upside down heart. Guerlain, I'm nervous. Yeah, I think we're okay though. Let's put this. Let's put this. Where should we pop it? Let's pop it back here very, very carefully. What's interesting as well is when you kind of look at the Guerlain output. When you go online, it was like a time when perfumers could take their time between one release and another. Because if you look at what Jean-Paul Guerlain was doing, I think he had done Habit Rouge in 1965, and then nothing until 1969 when he released Chamade. So he had, I guess, 3-4 years to work on it. And then again, he didn't do anything until like 1973, 1974 mark. And yet, all of those scents that he made during that time were incredible and are now considered to be amongst the finest perfumes, not just from Guerlain, but from the 20th century. Vetiver he did as well before Habit Rouge. I think Vetiver was the first one that he signed as a solo perfumer for Guerlain. Chamade it's just so gorgeous. Poor Thierry Vasseur has a new Guerlain a month, says Eric. Yeah, and that's why he's also got to have a team. That's why he has Delphine Gelk. That's why he has Frederic Sacon. Is it Frederic Sacon? I think it's Frederic. Yeah. And are still available, says Lindsay. Yes, absolutely. I mean, some have gone. What's the one? Is it Parure? That's gone. But we've still got Vetiver. We've still got Habit Rouge. We've still got Chamade in some form. We've still got Eau de Guerlain. We've still got Jardin de Bagatelle. Does your heart beat like it's in love? Well, yes, it's got that kind of effect. Now, I've always thought that Chamade was like, and this is meant to be an absolute compliment. Okay, so don't think that this is me poo-pooing Chamade in any way. I've always thought that this was like a kind of first draft of Neema. Neema, I think, is one of the greatest perfumes of all time. I absolutely adore it, and I'm so sad that it's not available in the extrait form anymore. At least as far as I'm aware, it's not available as an extrait anymore. Neema is probably the most glorious rose ever made. It is this vortex that just pulls you in, and you can do nothing but surrender. And it's interesting that I'm using that kind of terminology because that's what the story behind Chamade tries to convey as well. The sound of a heart surrendering. To me, Chamade has that kind of vortex-like effect, but it's not rose. It's greener, and famously it's also hyacinth. And of course, hyacinth and rose are really quite different beasts. Chamade Pour Homme is one of my most worn fragrances. Are the two similar, says Anna. No. Chamade Pour Homme, now this is again where I struggle because this is live and I can't check things out, but somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. Chamade Pour Homme is basically the same as Coriolan from Guerlain because they released Chamade Pour Homme, but then they also released something that they called the soul of a hero, and I think a lot of that also turned into Coriolan. That's actually more of a kind of juniper berry type perfume. Of course, if this is all, somebody can look this up. If this is all rubbish, then please forgive me. But no, it's really not like Chamade Pour Homme. It's not as though they decided to take Chamade and make a kind of masculine version. No, it's not like that at all. How aldehydic is it? It's not, sort of Chanel No. 5 aldehydy. It's not powdery. It's not sparkling. It is a floral. It is a floral on a maybe a kind of classic Guerlain vanillic sandalwoody base. But as with so many perfumes from that era, it's just the balance that is so gorgeous, because it manages to be both abstract and figurative enough at the same time to give you enough to latch onto. And what you've got to latch onto is hyacinth and green notes. But it's not like somebody's just planted a hyacinth in front of you, because hyacinth on its own can be quite overpowering. And if you put a hyacinth in a room, it can be quite overwhelming. Chamade might be my favourite Guerlain, says Eric, but that's a hard call. Yes, and you know, a good friend of mine, Neil Chapman, who wrote actually that book that you can just about make out here, the perfume book, the one with the black spine. I think he sometimes calls Chamade his favourite perfume. He keeps, you know, sort of veering from one to the other. I think sometimes it's number 19, but I have a feeling that Chamade is probably his favourite Guerlain as well. I can see why it would be somebody's favourite Guerlain. I want to smell Naama now, says Tisha. Yes, you do. Naama's just, it's just gorgeous. Some people can't take it though, because they think it's just too much. But Chamade, it could, you know, if I wanted to think of a perfume that sums up falling in love, being in love, then I can't imagine any perfume doing a better job than Chamade. I remember someone told me that the Tears of a Hero is a rename of Coriolan, and Chamade Pour Homme is its own fragrance. Oh, okay. Then yeah, I can't remember. And this is when we wish we still had the Monsieur Guerlain website. But if I can find out something about it, I'll try to remember to pop it in the video description below. But I knew there was some kind of link. Was it Tears of a Hero or the Soul of a Hero? Can't remember now. So Naama is perfection as well, but I love that golden Chamade heart. Yeah, the Chamade bottle is more beautiful than the Naama bottle. Monsieur Guerlain is still active? No, I don't think he is. Soul of a Hero. It was, yeah, lamb. That's it. That's soul, isn't it? Neil keeps it near his bed, says Peggy. He says in his book. Okay, I was going to say, how do you know? But Neil doesn't exactly hold back on personal information, does he? So yes, I would imagine he probably does keep it near his bed. You can still access Monsieur Guerlain's page via web history. Ooh, I didn't know that. Page 69. I'll take your word for it. How appropriate, though. It's got the sort of pollen-like feel. It's also well known for being a perfume that, like I was talking about the Ruth Mastenbroek work, that takes you on a journey that has a very, very different ending compared to its beginning, although apparently the modern iteration doesn't do that quite as much. Surprise, surprise. And I could sit here smelling it for ages. Actually, there is quite a strong rose note coming out as well. And it's that kind of fiery, hot rose that is what I love so much about Naama. The honey feel, the peppery feel. And I wonder, I mean, you know, maybe one day somebody will have a chance to ask Jean-Paul Guerlain, but I wonder if he looked at Chamade and I thought, how could I make this even more tempestuous? How could I make this even more passionate? Because there is something a little bit chaste about Chamade, because it's initial flutterings of love, I suppose. So, you know, this is the kind of Romeo and Juliet meeting, whereas Naama might be Romeo and Juliet doing whatever it is they need to do because they know they're not going to see each other again. But it's also so beautifully diffusive and, well, they just don't make stuff like this anymore. My favourite rose is Ce soir ou jamais, says Angeline. Ah, okay. I shall so look forward to writing about how this blotter is developing, but I think we should do one more and I will leave you in peace. But once again, thank you very much, Peggy, for that idea. And sincerely, thanks to all of you for coming along on this ride and being such wonderful supporters and allowing me to get to episode 50. While we're talking about episodes and things, November is going to be a tough month because I end up being busy with lots of non-perfume related stuff. So if I can do some videos, maybe some single perfume videos here and then in November, then I will try to, but please don't hold it against me if I can't. I will try to come back in full, you know, all guns blazing in December. And I'm also planning a very special blog post for December, but I won't say much more about that now. I think maybe do check out this L'Artisan. I've smelt it already. Very, very interesting. Alberto Morillas' work for L'Artisan. More classically Morillas, I think, in the sense of how much it relies on musks. But let's do this one, because I genuinely haven't smelt this before. This is from Molton Brown. Not particularly highly regarded as a perfume brand, but they keep going. And I was interested about this. You can just make out that it's called Suede Orris. Eau de Toilette. You can pre-record videos and upload, says Tushara. Yes, I could, but I wouldn't have time to do that either. If I had the time to do a pre-record, I'd just do a live one. Please do Jedi for the next classic, says Ashwa. Ooh, I've got a few drops of what somebody reliably assured me is a good quality Jedi, but yeah, we'll have to see. This, I was interested in doing this because of the perfumer. This is made by a chap called Jerome de Marino, and the first time I heard about him was actually when I interviewed Francis Kurkjian, and he said that Jerome de Marino is a perfumer, a young perfumer, up-and-coming perfumer whose work he rates. And when I found out that he made this for Molton Brown, I thought, oh, it would be interesting to smell it. Now, I know you can't always, you certainly can't always judge a perfumer by one perfume they've made for a brand, because you don't know about budgets, etc., etc. He has made one of the Elie Saab, I think one of the Elie Saab exclusives with Kurkjian, or maybe it's one of the mainstream ones. He made Kenzo World Power, the latest flanker to Kenzo World, and sorry, that I wasn't crazy about at all. But let's see what this is like. So this is Suede Orris from Molton Brown. Molton Brown have had a bit of a rebrand of their perfumes. I think they're trying to up their perfume game. They have an interesting perfume profiler on their website. I'm a little bit of a sucker for those sorts of things, especially when they're done in non-traditional ways. So this isn't a perfume profiler that gets you to type in things like, what are your favorite notes? It's more cunning than that. So go onto the Molton Brown website and find their fragrance profiler, or fragrance finder, I think they call it. It's quite fun. The thing that was slightly disappointing about it was that it came out as recommending to me their tobacco perfume, which I don't like at all. I think it's got a very, very cheap smelling dry down, that one. But anyway, so let's see. This is Suede Orris or Orris Suede? Suede Orris. I like the look of this one, says Lynn Smells. It just feels a bit wan, so far anyway. I mean, okay, yes, there is an iris feel coming through, which you would hope there would be. And iris and leather have been put together in the past, before. But what's coming through very, very strongly is quite sweet, sort of sweet, fruity shampoo musks. Maybe Molton Brown can't get away from their shower gel thing. Perfume predictors are as good as the Netflix program predictor algorithm in general. Oh, okay. Orris has leathery facets, as Ashfaq. Yeah. No, the Netflix. I'm not a massive user of Netflix, but I know lots of people don't like the algorithm. Sweetness not good, says Umberto. Well, more like crassness. I mean, the iris actually seems fine. So, let's see if I've got a little bit of info. I know from memory that I don't have a massive amount of info on this one. What have I got? Let's see. Actually, tiny. A luxurious fragrance. No, and they're charging £85 for 100 mils. I mean, that's not exactly cheap. A luxurious fragrance wrapped with cherished notes of pure Tuscan orris and jasmine absolutes. Mandarin and elemi in the top notes provide a subtle, fresh citrus lift. A quietly confident scent. Wow. Housed in a collectible and refillable glass flacon. Apparently the top notes are mandarin, olibanum and elemi, heart of Tuscan orris, rose and jasmine absolute, and a base of cedarwood, labdanum and patchouli. Ashfaq says, does it have sandalwood in it? Well, they're not saying sandalwood, so that's something. But it's vegan, paraben-free, gluten-free, and cruelty-free. Okay. I'll give it that much. It's not cruel, you know. If a Creed perfume tried to say that it's cruelty-free, then I might have something to argue about, but it's just, the refillable, yeah, so they said refillable. I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound very good. Let's just leave that how it was. We'll leave the refillability. What was that comment I made? Thank goodness it's gluten-free. I know. I was really, really grateful that it's gluten-free as well. But I shouldn't laugh. Maybe there are some people who are like, you know, celiac and they can't take perfume. I mentioned the brand. Yes, sorry. I won't do it again. Well, I may do it again, but I won't do it again now. It's just very, very safe. It almost has a feel of sort of like baby talcum powder, you know, there's a kind of innocence to it. Does any perfume contain gluten, says Dream of Mina? Oh yeah, loads. I should find out actually. No, this isn't particularly inspiring. There's something, if you wanted to convey something of childhood innocence, you may want this. You may want the smell, but it's not luxurious. It doesn't smell luxurious, you know. It's not sort of enveloping or opulent or anything like that. It's just very, very safe. Okay, bit of a bland note on which to finish, but never mind. Right, let's have a quick sniff of what we've had so far. Oh, this is the Labo that we started with. It's really strange. It's like ozonic juniper berry. I need to try this on skin. I mean, hats off to them for making something unusual, but I don't know how likable it is. And it again did make me think of Escape, which is never a good thing. Oh, the Ruth Mastenbroek is... The sun gave us a false sense of security and sort of said, come to me, I will embrace you with the spirit of my dawn, and now it's going, and I'm going to burn you into hellfire. It's become quite flammable, but in a good way. That's interesting. That grapefruit is now becoming more dangerous. The Chamade, I don't need to re-smell the Chamade, although it's always nice to you know, they don't need an excuse to smell Chamade, just to recalibrate. Oh gosh, it's just... words cannot even describe. And it's really unfair to go from Chamade to Molton Brown, isn't it? Let's go from, I don't know, what should we... Let's go from Le Labo. Yeah, it's that metallic back of the throat ozonic patchouli thing this way, but let's go from Le Labo to Molton Brown. It is some kind of baby product thing. I'm glad the new Le Labo is weird. I thought the Tonka smelled like them trying for another Santal Radiant Woody Musk. Le Labo does seem to target the young urban. Yes, absolutely, you're right. Not sure about Molton Brown. I mean, I wouldn't mind a shower gel smelling of this, or a bubble bath, you know. Bit of perfume. Anyway. That brings us, I wouldn't even call Santal 33 Radiant, more like full-on nuclear attack. Yes, although I do like it. I like Santal 33. You do smell it a lot in London, but, you know, I guess some Londoners do still have good taste. And I say that as somebody who was born in London, so I'm allowed to say that. Thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in to episode 50 of Love at First Scent. Thank you very much, Peggy, for inspiring me to feature Chamade, which celebrates its 50th anniversary this year. Off topic, says Tushar, I'm looking for a perfect Opoponax perfume. Do you have any suggestions? Oh gosh, the first one that comes to mind is Myriad from 8e Art. Someone recently, what was that? Someone recently wore Portrait of a Lady at the gym. Nice gym. Where is it? A big wave from Peggy, and a big wave back at you as well. Interlude Man is tons of Opoponax. Okay, you can tell each other that. Like I said, probably not a huge number of videos coming your way from me in November. I will do my best. But sincerely, many, many thanks to all of you for tuning in today. If you're watching this after the live broadcast, please, please, please do not hesitate to ask me any questions or leave comments. A blotter update coming soon. But until then, I think that's it. So be good, have a good November, and be rouge for Opoponax. Really? Really? I wish in Germany people would wear scents like yours. Well, you know, you start them off, and then they'll follow your lead. Look after yourselves, people. Okay, be good. Take care now. Bye.